All right, here we go. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Syphilis. All right, so let's do the thing. Welcome to episode 1 of FauxPods with your host Lola. All right, so I know what you're thinking. First of all, what's with the stuff? What's with the tiny microphone covered with the thing? What's with the lighting? You know, the blue shoddy lighting. But I have a perfectly good explanation for all of that, if you'll indulge me. My name is Lola, and for as long as I can remember, I had a deep propensity to express myself. And usually it's to uplift others, and usually it's to tell a good story. If not my own, then someone else's good story. And so from an early age, I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to be a film actor in particular. So the rest of my youth was spent kind of pushing in that direction and making sure that I got the practice that I needed, and I was focused on that. That's all I ever wanted growing up, was to be an actor, a film actor. And so then the time came, and I packed up my little car and I moved to California, and I got a taste of what Hollywood is, and kicked my ass a little bit, only because, like I said, from a very young age, I wanted to be a film actor, not a movie star. There's a big difference. But for a lot of people that were there, they wanted to be a movie star. They were gunning for movie star, gunning for fame and fortune. So that was kind of tough to take, because no one can distinguish between the two. You know, at face value, if you say you're an actor, people will just roll their eyes and they're like, oh God, here we go. But my life decided to weed out the drama for me. And I took a hard right and ended up having a daughter and starting a family. And in the recent couple of years, a lot of things have been swirling around and both making more sense, and both, kind of a realization as to why I didn't go that route, and also how I can go in a different route that's probably just more of a boss bitch move, more of a I'm in control and I can do what I want when I want to, which is the goal, right? So it took a while, it took a while. It took another couple kids, a several attempted relationship that finally dissolved for good, and a lot of painstaking, very deep and intense work on myself to reach a place where I feel like I'm ready to talk. I'm ready to talk and be my authentic self, and not try to keep up with the Joneses on YouTube, because although slick editing and, like the crash zooms and the sound effects and all that stuff, even though that's an art form and it's hilarious and it's, kind of where the market's at, that was always what prohibited me. The technical aspect is always what prohibited me from doing anything like this. So it occurred to me a couple nights ago, because I could never pick between the two of podcast or YouTube, and I was like, well, I can't do both straight out the gate, like the learning curve and all that. And I love that YouTube is just free form and you can do whatever the fuck you want, and but also I love that there's no real technical aspect to a podcast. You just sit down with the microphone and you just go with the topic, speak to someone, have a conversation with someone, or just speak your own mind. So from that, the vulnerable FauxPods with Lola was born. So in this first episode, which I'm calling Intros, bet you could figure out why. Just going to talk about myself a little bit, give you some context, give you a little ramp up, and kind of what you can expect from this channel, from what I hope to be purveying to you and perpetuating in this ever-evolving digital space, which is completely the wave of the future. And it's like cryptocurrency. Like, there's no reason to be doing it brick and mortar style at a studio, when the world is so much more alive and so much more real time these days. And me too. So Long before quarantine, long before, the recent events of the last few years, uh, I'm just kind of a loner, kind of an outsider. Like long before we had to stay indoors and stay away from people, I kind of just always kind of needed that. Life of the party when I want to be, but also need to recharge my batteries, need to be on my own. And a lot of my core values, a lot of my I guess you could say not spiritual beliefs. I know. Roll your eyes like, oh God, here she goes. She's an actor and she's spiritual. That's magical. but having said that, a lot of my just who I am has kind of prohibited me from being mainstream, I guess you could say. So I don't know. It just feels like the right fit to be in this sort of format, where I just talk to myself and I pretend other people are listening, right? So, I'm a critical thinker. I'm a humanitarian. I believe in accepting people for who they are, loving them for who they are, even if they don't, probably not even if they don't line up with who you are. Just like it's imperative that you love people that aren't just like you. It's imperative to have conservative friends if you're a liberal, or liberal friends if you're a conservative. It's imperative to seek out people of color if you're white, and vice versa. It's imperative that we all mesh together and that we all respectfully understand as much as we can. And so yeah, in that spirit, it's hard to find that type of ilk in someone. Ilk. Yeah, I said ilk. It's hard to, express yourself in a way that you're not offending someone, you're not hurting someone's feelings, and in the woke culture that we have now, it's even more difficult. So that's why instead of hitting the hot button anger, resentment, instead of giving way to our triggers, we got to just work at, and myself included, 100%, work at figuring out why that bothers you and letting it go, and trying to adopt better forward, more forward thinking, more understanding, more individuality, more, because to be honest with you, I don't know if you've noticed the new generations, the younger generations, they're already doing that. They're light years ahead of us with that. So if that's the case, either we can, get with the times or just kind of fade away, and I choose to roll with the punches and do the best I can and move forward the best I can. So that's what I'm here for. I've always wanted a platform of self-expression, like I mentioned. And I think within FauxPods, I'll be exploring, an ode to comedies of the 90s, an ode to, which I know, again, touchy subject, but I have a lot of interesting, like maybe an interesting take on it that you didn't think of yourself, that'll allow you to enjoy something for what it is instead of what it isn't. Maybe talking about, like I said, mindfulness, something that I've worked on for 20 years, that I have a little bit of expertise in the field, like in practical application. I don't just talk about it, or, I'm not just now getting into it, like I've had years of experience. And as any teacher will tell you, as any person with any amassed knowledge on something, if you don't share it, if you don't spread it to other people who can benefit from it, there's no point in having that knowledge. So, a topic like that, maybe just talking about photography, the aspects of photography, just anything and everything that, and I hope I really encourage everyone, to leave a comment down below, maybe tell me what is something that you're kind of either you want to jump into and haven't yet, or something that, you did recently that, just let me know how it's going. Are you slaying it yet? Are you struggling? Because that would be really cool to know. Kind of, simpatico and get us off on the right foot and on common ground. What else? I got these handy dandy little note cards here. They help. So I just decided to go for it. And although there are always going to be things that I can improve upon, that's just the nature of life and definitely creative endeavors. The video quality will get better, but I think I like the I would say the free form, just talking and sharing ideas and relating, connecting, that's going to be the focus. That's going to be the main reason to stop by, is to, see what I have to say and maybe contribute in your own way and in your own words. That's what I'm doing this for. That's the whole point. So, other than that, like I mentioned, actor and a writer. I do love photography. I love art in all forms, and that's, I love to do makeup. I love style. I wouldn't say fashion, because that kind of denotes that you are kind of a label whore, or that, just at least to me, in my mind, when I say, I'm into fashion, it makes it sound like I don't shop at a thrift store and off the cheap racks. I do, but I definitely have my own style, and I have my own way of wearing things and owning things, and I think that's more important. Those are the people that you remember, are the people who own what they wear instead of what they wear owning them. For my fellow astrologites, that's not a word. My big three, I'm an Aquarius sun, Taurus moon, Pisces ascendant. So if you know what that means, you know the struggle. You know that within the astrological context, there's a constant push-pull in me to stay the course and stay in a nice, happy, tidy rut with being a Taurus. And then the Aquarius is a free thinker and break with the cycles and change and rebel. And, so that's why probably it's taken me so long to just kind of jump off the deep end and just really go for it. So that's me in a nutshell. Like I said, I'm the mom of 3 daughters, so that's the majority of my time. And like I said, the taking care of myself, I'm self-partnered, which I know it's a cute little buzzword that people use, like I'm self-partnered, because I think, is that Emma Watson? No, is that a person? Emma, the one that was Hermione. Emma Watson. Anyway, she kind of coined the term, although it's been around for a lot longer than her. But yeah, so self-partnering is where you just kind of join forces with yourself. You're not actively looking for a relationship. In my case, anyway, you're working on yourself, working on the groundwork that maybe hasn't afforded you positive relationships in the past, and so you're working on healing wounds, and which that sounds so cheesy and new agey and silly, but I personally think it should be taught in all the schools in all the land, because why wouldn't it be beneficial to get to the bottom of your OCD, or your always picking the same type of guy or girl, like why wouldn't it be beneficial to do a little digging, do a little journaling, do a little release ritual, and move on and be happier? Like, that's the goal, like any relationship, with any amount of money, with any, anything like that. The goal is the result, right? The desired outcome of just being happy, waking up inspired. So, in that sense, I am contentedly self-partnered. So, and I encourage anybody who's in the loop of self-flagellation or abuse, self-abuse, just to remember that there's only one of you out there, just one. Even identical twins are completely different. So the world could use your perspective. The world needs your perspective. And even if it's difficult, even if it's tough, it's well worth it. It's well worth it just for your quality of life, let alone the fringe benefits of, friends, being friendlier or better suited, or, all that stuff. All the relationships in your life will improve once you improve your relationship with yourself. And that's the truth. So, all of my topics, all of my, the things that I talk about, all of those are going to be based in those ideas, in the knowledge that I've discovered and come to throughout that journey. It's an ongoing journey, and it will be till the last day on earth, so that's exciting. That's something to look forward to every day, so what else? I guess that's it. So I'm excited. I will be posting on the weekends, either Friday or Saturday. I'll try to nail that down as soon as possible, because I know content-wise people look forward to it. I definitely look forward to my favorite content creators. Big shout out to Bailey Sarian and Hot Ones, and Sarah Silverman podcast, and the Inside of You podcast, and Joe Rogan's podcast. The list is endless, but yeah. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for going on a journey with me, and like starting with me at the start point, because it's always fun to see, right? Like to see the evolution of someone, and then sometimes they get too big, and you're like, oh, they're not mine anymore. They're everyone else's, and it's different, But I promise to be as much yours now as in the future. That sounded a lot more romantic than I wanted to. You know what I mean. But anyway, so yeah. Hit the thing and the other thing, and that way you'll get notifications, and we'll make a go of it. So thanks for tuning in to FauxPods with Lola, and that's a keyword I got from OfferUp, and I've had nothing but fun with it. So yeah, I'll see you on the flip flop.